Committee on Rules, Joint Rules, Resolutions, and Ethics will come to order. We do not yet have a quorum, so we're going to start as a subcommittee. First up is House Committee Substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2511. Representative Vernetti, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Representative Jeff Vernetti, District 123 in Lake of the Ozarks, here to present House Bill 2366 and 2511, which was our bipartisan effort to help solve the problem that the Missouri's construction industry is facing from illegal hiring practices and off-the-books pay-for-cash systems. From our cities to our rural communities, contractors and companies who follow established federal and state labor guidelines are losing out to companies who continue to skirt the law. And bad actors are really the ones able to celebrate their victories here in Missouri. So currently throughout the state, especially in areas like my district and in mid-Missouri, businesses in multiple trades are hiring illegal workers, and they're not using acceptable processes like E-Verify and I-9s to verify these employees. And what those companies are doing, they're undercutting the great businesses of the state and that are following the law. So this bill is simply about leveling the playing field, enforcing current laws, eliminating some old statutes that don't give the Attorney General and her office any teeth in the process whatsoever. The bill had tremendous bipartisan support in the House. It passed 139 to 6. And really, this bill was about the system working. We spent 5 or close to 6 weeks, actually, from the time it was initially presented in Commerce, working with labor unions, contractors, home builders, the Attorney General's office to really find the right language to truly protect the businesses that are doing things right and eliminate the businesses that are continuing to suck basically all of the money away from those companies that are doing it right. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. But thank you so much for the opportunity to present this today.
Great. Since we do have a quorum present, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Luke DeMeyer,
Here.
O'Laughlin, here. Searpoy, May, Williams.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Senator.
All right. Let's start with witnesses in support. First witness in support of House Committee Substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2511.
Thanks, buddy. Good morning. Mark Dalton, on behalf of the Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council, would love to go on record in support of this bill. This is a good bill that targets an ongoing issue that we have, not only in Missouri but nationwide, but a huge issue that we have in Missouri in the construction industry. Contractors, subcontractors that pay their workers in cash. The state is losing out on significant tax revenue, undercutting legitimate contractors that hire employees and pay them correctly. Also, the workers are not getting any Social Security, work comp, anything paid into the system. So it's cheating legitimate contractors, cheating the workers. This bill provides a pathway for the Attorney General's office to investigate when complaints are filed on their website. The issue we've been facing in the state is that it's up to the municipalities to investigate and enforce these complaints, and they just don't have the bandwidth or the desire to do it. And so this is just allowing a pathway for the Attorney General to enforce the laws that are already on the books. So we support this bill. Would love to take any questions if you have any.
And questions for Mr. Dalton? Senator O'Laughlin.
So, like, if you know someone is breaking this law, is there like something filed with the Department of Labor, or do they not have something to do with enforcement?
No, so we have tried to go down the pathway with the Department of Labor. What we've been told by the Department of Labor, if the workers are misclassified as an independent contractor instead of an employee when they're supposed to be an employee, then that is something the Department of Labor can investigate. But when it is cash pay, completely off the books, they said that is not anything they can follow up on, that it's the Attorney General's job. So then from there we went to the Attorney General, and then we found out that there was roadblocks there because it's up to the municipality to act first, and then they can request help from the Attorney General. So we had an Attorney General's office that wanted to help, but then couldn't because it was up to the municipality. So this bill just changes some of the statute that allows the Attorney General to go after that. I completely agree that with the thought process of this should be a Department of Labor avenue, but we've been told it's not.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Any further questions for the witness? Senator Williams.
Thanks this morning. I just want to go and acknowledge on the record I've been in communication with labor unions about these issues on projects in St. Louis County where I live and represent, and I know it's something that's been going on for a while, and I think this could be an opportunity to address those concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Further witnesses in support? Any further witnesses in support? Seeing none, any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, any witnesses for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that will conclude the hearing on House Committee Substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2511. Next up is House Bill 3279. Representative Shields, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Chairman and Senators. I am Brenda Shields. I'm representing St. Joseph District 11. Thank you very much for hearing this bill today. House Bill 3279 proposes to move the Community Service Commission from the Department of Economic Development to the Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. While it once made sense for the Community Service Commission to be housed in the Department of Economic Development, that no longer makes sense because in 2019 we had underwent some significant reorganization in Department of Economic Development, and DUDE transitioning the Workforce Division housed in Department of Economic Development to the Office of Workforce Development, now under the Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. This realignment better connects our state's prior workforce goals and employment training programs with our higher education programs and opportunities. However, that might have been overlooked, the Community Service Commission, when its fundamental goal level is to encourage societal contributions and successful community members, all of which lied underneath DUE's goals to skill up our workforce and better position individuals in a rewarding career. Basically, when we redid the reorganization of the Department of Economic Development and DUE, the Community Service Commission probably should have moved with that. So this is kind of a cleanup bill. This passed the House 151-0. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Representative Shields? Senator Laughlin.
I hate to admit this, but I'm not sure what the Community Service Commission does exactly.
Well, when this piece of legislation was brought to me, I said, I didn't know there even was a Community Service Commission in the state, so I'm happy to explain that to you. Basically, it's where AmeriCorps is housed, so there's federal dollars that come down that help with AmeriCorps and placing those people with doing work in the community as volunteer work, but basically then that goal of AmeriCorps is to get people into employment.
Okay, thank you.
So you make me feel better because I didn't know it either.
Any further questions for the representative? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Witnesses in support of House Bill 3279. Do we have any witnesses in support? Seeing none, any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, any witnesses for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing on House Bill 3279. I now make a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those the contrary, no. The ayes have it. We are in executive session. I would now make a motion to bring before the committee for consideration House Committee substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2511. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. Ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. This is Representative Vernetti's bill that we just heard about cash pay. I think I had a conversation with all the members of the committee before this hearing, since we're getting kind of close to the end of session, even though we typically don't hear an exec on the same day. This is a bill I would like for us to do that. And so with that, I would make a motion to vote do pass House Committee substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2550 or 2511. Do I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Lukemeyer.
Aye.
O'Laughlin. Searpoy. May. Williams.
By your vote of 4-3, you voted do pass House Committee substitute for House Bills 2366 and 2511. I would now make a motion to bring before the committee House Bill 3279. Do I have a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. The ayes have it. The bill is before the committee. I would now make a motion that we vote do pass House Bill 3279. Do I have a second? Second. Okay. Is there any discussion? This is, of course, the consent bill from Representative Shields. I'm going to be making a motion after this to vote it out of committee as a consent bill, but that's going to be a separate motion. Is there any discussion on the bill before we vote it? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Lukemeyer.
Aye.
O'Laughlin. Aye. Searpoy. May. Williams.
By your vote of 3-0, you have voted do pass House Bill 3279. I would now make a motion that we vote House Bill 3279 as a consent bill. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Lukemeyer.
Aye.
O'Laughlin. Aye. Searpoy. May. Williams.
Okay. Senator Williams votes aye. By your vote of 3-2, since it's a unanimous vote, you have voted do pass consent House Bill 3279. Sorry. By 3-0, you have unanimously passed House Bill 3279 as a consent bill. No further business coming before the body. I move that we exit executive session and adjourn. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. The ayes have it. We are adjourned.